we see this election as a very important global event that could lead to one of two futures. And one of the most important tweaks that you have done in my mind is when you are talking about those oligarchs, those foreign born oligarchs like the Musks and the Thiels. You say these individuals are essentially working to transform the United States into a failed and corrupt developing nation similar to 1990s Russia, where oligarchs hold the power to make decisions. That, in just one tweet, is why we started this show, because we saw that how many years ago. And this is the warning. And can you, in just kind of like, just basically speak on that for us? Because again, we have a friend, Jackie Singh, and she says that our brains, our 10,000-year-old wetware, is not really able to deal with the onslaught of information and social media. So I like to write and run our podcast like it's the Teletubbies, like you're going to see the same thing over and same thing over and same thing over till you finally figure it out. So how do we explain to people we don't want to be like 1990s Russia? That's not what our objective is here. How do we just tear that out by the roots,
Yeah, the 1990s Russia was a very violent society with huge inequalities, and people lost hope and didn't think that they actually can influence the country. And that's why Russia ended up with Putin as the leader, because what Putin did is he managed to actually centralize power again and get that violence off the streets. And of course, it's just a comparison. The US is much more developed and won't become exactly like 1990s Russia, but oligarchs who have a lot of money and want to buy influence and who want to be extremely involved in politics, especially on the far right, they're not the nice people who just want to make money. They also have an ideology, and that ideology usually tends to serve them on a personal level because of their business interests. So they don't care about how the country is doing. They don't care about how the people in the country are doing. They want to maximize their interests. And even if looking at it from a quite rational and maybe naive point of view, I think people like Peter Thiel or Elon Musk have also darker sides to them, but just their business interest alone is not the same interest as the interest of the country and of the people in the US. Because these people, they want to, for example, Elon Musk, he wants to sell cars in China. He wants to sell cars in Russia. He wants to get rare earths from China and Russia. And because of that, he would always oppose any confrontation with China or Russia, because he wants to do business and he wants to grow and he wants to have influence. And the US might be in a situation at some point, it's already the case, where those countries are adversaries and it's not possible to go with that in mind or selling cars in mind. That cannot be the main thing, because otherwise we have to just end up in a situation where Ukraine is less important and a genocide in Ukraine is less important than Elon Musk selling cars to Chinese people. So the interest of these oligarchs, their interests don't align with the interests of Americans and of the US as a country. And because of that, it's really important that these people don't get the power that they want to have. And in the case of these guys, they are not Americans originally. They're people who have become Americans. They're from South Africa, even if Peter Thiel is actually from Germany, but grew up partially in South Africa and in Namibia. And those people, they come from countries that don't necessarily have the same interests as the US. And then on top of that, they are rich oligarchs who want to prioritize their business. So they are not working on behalf of Americans or of the US. They are working on behalf of themselves. And if working in the interest of Russia or China is in their interest, they will do it. And because of that, it's just extremely important that it's not possible for them to buy themselves into power and to decide the fate of the US.
Thank you. That was a mic drop.